Welcome to the channel and settle in for a new, relaxing story. In this gentle sleep story, you'll be guided to a peaceful place where a quiet river flows slowly beneath the moon, far from noise, stress, and distraction. Allow the calm narration and soft atmosphere to help your breathing slow, your thoughts settle, and your body drift naturally into deep, restful sleep. Get comfortable, lower the volume, and let go of the day as the story unfolds. If you enjoy this sleep story and find it helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more relaxing stories to support deep sleep and peaceful nights. The still river beyond the hills. Close your eyes now and let your breathing slow. Feel the weight of your body sinking gently into the softness beneath you. Tonight, we journey together to a place where time moves differently, where the world is hushed and kind, and where sleep comes as naturally as the setting sun. Beyond the hills you know, beyond the paths you've walked, there flows a river. It is not a rushing river, not a river of white water and urgent current. No, this is a still river, a river that barely whispers, a river that knows the secret of perfect peace. And tonight, you will find your way there. The journey begins at twilight, that gentle hour when the day releases its hold and the night has not yet claimed the sky. You stand at the edge of a meadow, and before you rise soft hills, rounded and patient, covered in long grass that moves like breathing in the evening breeze. The grass is golden in the fading light, each blade catching the last warmth of the sun. And as you look at these hills, you feel something in your chest begin to ease, some tightness you didn't know you carried starting to loosen and fall away. You take your first step forward, and the ground is kind beneath your feet. The grass cushions each footfall, and you notice how quiet your walking is, how the earth seems to welcome you without sound or disturbance. The air is perfect against your skin, neither warm nor cool, just present, just there, like a gentle hand that asks nothing of you. As you walk, you notice the light changing. The sun is lowering behind you now, and the hills before you are painted in shades of amber and soft purple. The shadows are long but not dark, simply deeper tones of the same peacefulness that fills everything here. You realize you are not tired from walking. Instead, each step makes you feel lighter, as though you are leaving something behind with every pace, some burden you no longer need to name or carry. The first hill rises before you, a gradual slope that asks little effort. You begin to climb, and the grass whispers against your legs, a sound like distant memory, like something you once knew and have now remembered. Halfway up the hill, you pause and look back. The meadow spreads behind you, vast and gentle, and you see the path you've made through the grass, a silver-green trail that shows where you've been. But even as you watch, the grass is slowly rising again, erasing your passage, and you understand that this place holds no trace of worry, no record of what has been, only what is. You continue upward, and when you reach the crest of the first hill, you stop and breathe. The air here is even softer, even sweeter, carrying the scent of wild herbs and distant water. Before you, more hills roll away into the dimming distance, each one slightly darker than the last, each one holding its own particular silence. And beyond them all, Though you cannot yet see it, you sense the river. You feel its stillness calling to you, pulling you gently forward, and you know that when you reach it, something inside you will finally rest. The sky above is deepening now, the blue becoming indigo, and the first stars are beginning to appear. They don't sparkle or flash, these stars. They simply exist, steady points of light that have always been there and will always remain, and their constancy is deeply comforting. You feel yourself part of something much larger, something ancient and unworried, and the feeling is like being held. You descend the first hill and begin to climb the second, and your body moves with a rhythm you don't need to think about. Your breathing has matched itself to your walking, a slow and even pattern that requires no attention, no effort. Your shoulders have dropped, you notice. Your jaw has unclenched. Your hands hang loose at your sides, fingers slightly curled, holding nothing, needing nothing. The second hill is slightly higher, and from its summit you can see farther. The land stretches before you in gentle undulations, and now, in the valley between the third and fourth hills, you catch your first glimpse of the river. It is a ribbon of silver in the gathering dusk, perfectly still, reflecting the sky above like a mirror laid down by patient hands. Even from this distance, you can feel its tranquility, its absolute peace, and something deep in your chest sighs with recognition. You make your way down the second hill, and the world is growing quieter still. The breeze has gentled to almost nothing. The grass moves less frequently now, and when it does, the motion is slow and dreaming. You notice small flowers scattered through the grass, their petals closed for the night, and even in their sleeping, they are beautiful. White flowers, pale as moonlight, small purple blooms that smell of lavender and sleep. They ask nothing of you, these flowers. They simply rest in their own nature, and you feel invited to do the same. The third hill is easier than the others, or perhaps you have become lighter. Your legs carry you without strain. Your breath flows in and out without thought. You are moving toward the river now with a quiet certainty, and all the questions that filled your mind before have become soft and distant, like voices from another room, another life. At the top of the third hill, you pause again. The river is closer now, and you can see it more clearly. It winds through the valley with barely a curve, as though it knows exactly where it needs to be, and travels there with minimal effort. The water is dark glass, smooth and still, and you cannot see where it comes from or where it goes. It simply is, existing in its own perfect present, and you understand that this is enough, to simply be, to simply rest in being. The sky is darker now, the stars more numerous. A crescent moon has risen, thin as a whisper, and it casts a pale light that makes everything softer, gentler, like the world has been wrapped in a blanket of silver. The temperature has dropped slightly, just enough to make the air feel clean and fresh, and you breathe it in deeply, feeling it fill your lungs, feeling it carry away the last traces of tension from your body. You descend the third hill, and now you are walking through the valley, and the river is just ahead. With each step, you hear it more clearly, though it makes almost no sound. What you hear is not the rush of water, but something deeper, something beneath sound. It is the hum of stillness itself, the quiet song that exists when everything else falls away. It is the sound of your own peace, waiting for you. The grass gives way to smooth stones at the river's edge, rounded pebbles that have been worn soft by water and time. You step onto them carefully, and they shift slightly under your weight, but they hold you. They support you, and you feel safe. The river is just before you now, so close you could reach out and touch it, and you can see your reflection in its dark surface, barely visible in the moonlight. a shadowy version of yourself that looks back at you with calm, understanding eyes. You lower yourself to sit on the stones, and they arrange themselves beneath you with surprising comfort, as though they have been awaiting for you, as though this spot was always meant to be yours. You draw your knees up slightly and wrap your arms around them, or perhaps you stretch your legs out before you, or perhaps you simply find the position that feels most natural, most restful, and you settle into it with a sigh that comes from somewhere deep inside. The river flows before you. Though flow is not quite the right word, the river exists before you. It is present before you. The water moves. You know it must. All rivers move. But here, the movement is so slow, so subtle, that it seems like stillness itself. Like time has paused, or stretched, or simply decided that hurry is unnecessary. You watch the water, and your eyes grow soft. You're not focusing on anything in particular, just letting your gaze rest on the silver dark surface, watching the way it holds the moon, the way it reflects the stars. Occasionally, a ripple passes across the water, the smallest disturbance, and you think about how everything that disturbs us eventually passes, eventually fades, eventually returns to stillness. The air around you is cool now, but not cold. It touches your face like the gentlest of hands, and you feel your breathing slow even more. 4 counts in, 4 counts out. So slow, so easy. Your chest rises and falls, and you barely notice it anymore. It happens by itself, as it always has, as it always will, and you realize you can trust your body to know what it needs to do. Across the river, the far bank rises into another hill, darker than the rest, almost black against the deep blue of the night sky. You cannot see what lies beyond that hill. You don't need to. Everything you need is here, in this moment, beside this still river, under this patient sky. Time passes, though you couldn't say how much. It might be minutes, it might be hours. It doesn't matter. You sit and watch the water, and your thoughts begin to drift like leaves on a slow current. Thoughts about the day, thoughts about tomorrow, thoughts about things you need to do, people you need to see, problems you need to solve. They float through your mind, but they don't catch, they don't snag. They simply pass, moving downstream, moving away, and you let them go without effort, without struggle. A night bird calls somewhere in the distance, a soft sound, a gentle question with no need for an answer. You listen, and the sound fades, and the silence returns. And the silence is not empty. It is full, full of peace, full of presence, full of this moment that asks nothing of you except that you be here, exactly as you are. You notice how heavy your body feels now. Your legs are heavy, your arms are heavy. Your head feels as though it might be too heavy to hold up, and you let it drop slightly forward, or rest back, or tilt to the side, finding the position that requires the least effort, the least holding on. Your eyelids are heavy too, so heavy, and you let them close for a moment, or perhaps they've been closed for a while. You're not quite sure, and it doesn't matter. With your eyes closed, you can still sense the river before you. You can feel its stillness. You can feel it calling to you, inviting you to become still like it, to let everything in you that moves and worries and plans simply stop, simply rest, simply be. You breathe in the night air, cool and clean, and you breathe out, releasing everything you don't need. You breathe in peace, and you breathe out tension. You breathe in stillness, and you breathe out the day. Each breath takes you deeper into rest, deeper into quiet, deeper into this moment beside the river, beyond the hills. The stones beneath you seem softer now, more yielding, as though they're turning into something else, something between solid and soft, something that holds you perfectly. You sink into them, or they rise to meet you, and the boundary between your body and the earth becomes unclear, unimportant. You are aware of the river, always the river, its dark surface holding the night, holding the stars, holding you in its patient gaze. It has been here for 1,000 years, this river. It will be here for 1,000 more. And in its timelessness, your own worries about time become small and distant, and finally, blessedly, irrelevant. Your breathing is so slow now, so deep and easy. You barely notice it anymore. It happens in the background, reliable and steady, like the river itself, like the turning of the earth, like all the things that take care of themselves without your effort or attention.
The night deepens around you. More stars appear, filling the sky with their steady light, and you feel yourself floating among them, or perhaps sinking beneath them. It's hard to say which. Hard to tell the difference between rising and falling, between waking and sleeping, between being here and being nowhere at all. The river whispers to you, though it makes no sound. It tells you ancient things. It tells you that rest is your birthright. It tells you that peace is your natural state. It tells you that you can stop trying, stop reaching, stop holding on, and nothing bad will happen. You will simply rest. You will simply be. You will simply drift into the deep and dreamless dark where healing happens, where the body repairs itself, where the mind releases its grip and the heart slows and the whole symphony of your being plays its softest, slowest song. You feel yourself letting go now, really letting go. The last threads of wakefulness loosening, the last connections to the day dissolving. The river flows before you, still and eternal. The hills rise around you, holding you safe. The stars burn above you, ancient and sure. And you are finally allowing yourself to rest. Your body is so heavy now, so peaceful, so ready. Your mind is quiet, almost silent, just the faintest awareness remaining, just enough to notice that you're slipping away, slipping down, slipping into that place where there are no words, no thoughts, no anything except the deep and perfect dark. The river will be here when you wake. The hills will be here. The sky will be here. But you don't need to think about that now. You don't need to think about anything. You only need to let go, to sink, to fall gently into sleep, like falling into water, like falling into softness, like falling into the arms of something vast and kind that will hold you through the night. The river knows. The river has always known. And now you know too. You know how to rest. You know how to let go. You know how to find the still place beyond the hills, the quiet place inside yourself where peace lives, where sleep waits, where you can finally stop and breathe and be. The last thing you're aware of is the river, always the river, still and dark and perfect. And then even that awareness fades, dissolves, disappears, and you are gone, drifting downstream into sleep, into rest, into the deep and healing dark, where you will stay until morning finds you, new and whole and ready. But not yet, not now, because now is for sleeping, now is for dreaming, now is for letting the still river beyond the hills carry you home to yourself, carry you home to peace, carry you home to the rest you've been seeking, the rest you've always deserved, the rest that is finally, blessedly, yours. Sleep now. The river is still, and so are you.